Ahoy mates! In today's episode of How to Play Like a Pro in Sea of Thieves, we're talking about tucking. For those unfamiliar with this, it's basically like being a ninja, but in Sea of Thieves, where you run around and hide on ships and islands with the goal of stealing other pirates' treasure. It's definitely my favorite aspect of the game, and if you watch my other videos on the channel or live over on Twitch, link in the description, you'll know this is something we do often. Alright, new pirate, there's a few things we have to do first before you're ready to tuck like a pro. First, you'll need the hide emote, which is free in the Emporium. If you go to the pirate tab, then go all the way to the end. It's the second to last page under hide and seek emote bundle. Now the hide emote is the free one. This is what you want to get. However, if you'd like, you could spend a little bit of money and get some other ones. I'd recommend the deck hide if you're willing to spend the money. After we get that, we'll need to get you the right look. The goal is not to be seen, so I tend to dress in all black. If we go into the clothing shop on any outpost, we can get everything we need. Now you can fancy it up with hats and whatever you like, but for this tutorial we're just going to focus on a basic outfit any pirate starting out can get their hands on once they get a bit of gold. First, under the shirts category, we want the Majestic Sovereign shirt, a nice and slim black shirt that I always wear. Next, for our pants, there's a couple options you could choose, however I'd recommend the Ruffian Sea Dog trousers. We can also get some gloves if you'd like. I'd recommend the Hunter's gloves. The rest is up to you. I like having face paint as a way to make my pirate a bit more interesting, but you can do whatever you like. However, there is one rule with tuck clothes that we haven't talked about yet, and that is no boots. Boots make way too much noise, which is why it's best to go barefoot. Let's do a sound comparison. First, with boots. Now with no boots. Hear the difference? For me, it's a big difference, which has helped me be undetected by other players in the past, which is why I'll never wear boots while trying to tuck. Now with that out of the way, let's talk about the best spots to tuck on each ship. Now the Sloop is my favorite to tuck on because there's many spots and it's usually only 1 to 2 people, so it's less likely you're gonna get caught. So let's look at all the spots that you can hide in and hopefully won't get caught. Our first spot, which is probably the worst spot, is right here behind the water barrel. You likely won't get caught, however, it's very noticeable if they do see you. The next spot is behind the map table. This one's not too bad because usually no one's behind here, however, if they pay attention when they walk in, they can easily see you under the table there. For our next one that I typically do a lot is right here next to the cannon. Usually no one notices you unless they're paying real close attention, but you want to get on the side that's away from the wheel. Now let's move into our best spots to hide on the sloop, and there's 2 really good spots you can hide. The first one, we have to climb up to the crow's nest here, and then we're going to jump down to this beam here, and you want to get right in the middle, and then do the hide emote. Now what that does is if anyone climbs the ladder, they won't see you, and the only way you'll get caught is either 1, if you fall off, or 2, they know about the spot and they jump down on the beam and see you. Now our next pro spot is a little bit tricky to do, but if you can get the hang of it, it's the best spot to go on a sloop. So what you're going to do is you're going to get on here, and you're going to go right to the side like this, and do the hide emote. You're basically invisible. Let me show that again for y'all. You hop on here. Now you want to push yourself a little bit to the edge, you're kind of standing off, and you want to look out at the sea. And then do the hide emote. Sometimes you mess up like I did, but even if that, they're likely not to notice you. Bonus spot, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you don't have a lot of time to hide, you can always do right behind the capstan. They likely won't notice you there either. Now the brig is probably the worst one to tuck on. It's not impossible, but it's definitely not the easiest one to tuck. Going from worst to best, here are the tuck spots on the brigantine. First one we have is behind the voyage table. Just like the sloop, this one's not bad. However, you're not as well hidden. And typically whenever I've done this one, I've always gotten caught, so I wouldn't recommend it. Along with that, right next to it, you can also do right here. Behind the curtain in the corner. This one's not bad, it's actually pretty well hidden, and it lets you have a nice view of what's going on. Next we have behind the wood barrel. I'm using a deck hide, but you can use the regular hide and it works the same. This one's pretty good, and you're likely not to get caught unless they're paying good attention. We also have the typical cannon hide. This one, just like the sloop, is pretty decent. It works on any of the cannons, so it's really up to you. Now, unlike the sloop, I would not hide behind the capstan. It's very noticeable here. However, you can hide in the front mast right here. Typically, no one comes up here unless they're using the harpoon. And even if they are, they're likely not going to see you. As you can see, I blend in pretty well with the floor plate there. Another thing you'll notice that's unlike the sloop is on this mast you have two different beams, which makes it a little bit harder to tuck. As you can see, if you go on the second beam, you cannot get under the crow's nest. So if you want to do this beam high, like on the sloop, you have to go down to the second one, then tuck here. Now if you can get here without being seen, you're almost golden, because who's likely going to see you from here? Because the sail will be blocking you almost all the time. However, there is a better spot on the brig, and if you ever watch my streams, you'll know which one I'm talking about. Up here in the front, you'll see these barrels. Now you'd think this would be a bad spot. However, if you get right here and you hide, you're really unnoticeable from the rest of the ship. Now, I have pretty good luck with this. If you're looking from this view, you do not see the barrels at all. You only see the barrels when you're at the map table. And usually if someone's coming to look at the map table, they look at it quickly and then they go. And they go so fast that you are so blend into the wall, if you're wearing dark colors, you'll be completely fine. Now to my favorite, the Galleon. The Galleon's really fun to tuck on, and I'll show you why. With the Galleon, there's so many different tuck spots on here that the possibilities are almost endless, and with the amount that there are, it's very unlikely that you'll get caught. Now, just like before, we're gonna go worst to best of the spots on the Galleon to tuck. At our worst spot, it's right on the front here, where you have all the chests. I don't think I need to explain why, but in a high traffic area like this, you do not want to be tucked here. However, if you're in a, bit of a bind, this is somewhere where you can hide for a moment, but I would not stay here. Another place I would not tuck is the cannons, which might come as a surprise compared to the other two ships. But with the Galleon, with so many people running around the ship, you're more likely to get caught here because it's more open. One that a lot of players love is right here behind the wheel. If you get right here behind the wheel, you can do a bit of a hide emote right there. A lot of players love it because it gives you a nice rush and you can see the entire ship, which is nice. However, with you being so close to where you know someone's going to be the whole time, it's really not the best option. Now, one of the best spots is back here, because no one comes back here for some reason. If you go right behind this beam, you'll be almost perfect. Another good spot is this front beam. Most people don't come up here, just like the brigantine, unless they're doing the harpoons. Alright, now we're going to look at the best spots to tuck on the Galleon. Right here on the bottom deck next to the ladder is a good one, especially if you turn off the lanterns, because then you're almost completely dark. And usually people don't come down here unless there's holes on the ship, and even if they do, you'll likely not get caught unless they already suspect that you're on here. If they already suspect you're on here, I would go with one of the later ones we're about to talk about. Staying on the bottom deck, right here, you have this one barrel at the very back. Hiding on either side of this is great too. Usually people just run around here and don't even look that well. Another one, a little bit more risky, is right behind the brig. Now, going into the captain's quarters, behind the table here, this is a good spot. However, to any experienced pirate, they know this spot well, and they'll come and check it if they have a lot of loot. This one's good for if you want to see what's going on the ship, but you want to be a little bit more secure than, say, behind one of the masts or behind the wheel. However, there is a better spot, and this will be our final spot, so let me go ahead and show you. If you come out here on the balcony, you could just, tuck like this, and this will be fine, and you'll actually be protected if there's a ship combat. And this is actually almost perfect, especially if they have a rowboat. You can steal the stuff and go in the rowboat and hop out without them even seeing you. However, if you notice, there's these little planks on the side of the Galleon, unlike the other ships. This is perfect, especially if you have a deck hide, like I was talking about earlier. You just hide like this, they don't even see you. It's easiest to get on this from the balcony. However, you can get on it from other parts of the ship too. Now, usually people do know that back spot, so if you want to be a little bit extra sneaky, if you think that they're more experienced pirates, you could get on this front one like that, and then do the deck hide, or regular hide works as well. Now, the only time I wouldn't recommend this, if you know they're going to be fighting other ships. Now, if they are fighting other people, I would recommend staying right here on the balcony, because you don't want to be right next to where the door is, or else you'll be easily seen. Also, if you're right here, you can use the window and look inside to see if someone's coming. If you see someone coming out to the balcony, you can try to do a quick dash over here. Also on the balcony, there's this spot. Really anywhere on the balcony you'll be good. Well, that's it for today, y'all. Let me know any questions you have about tucking in the comments below. I may look at making a part 2 to this, answering those questions and tucking on islands, and maybe some other topics if y'all have any interest in it. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.